Abusua ya makwa abasonko so eba POG Media so ene yeremekọ highway ni so highway ni de ensem bebre wo so ayen so ya AJAP ne se ebe me abedwafo no ahu de ekọ ene de eba na den na ekọ so ewo highway ni so eye Esidu A.Nketia ede ensem bi aba betudo a ọkọ grante interview on Joy News and ensem a odi tudo no very scary a enye asem keto akra che se or backfire eye Brian Echampon ensem a odi betudo a o che se eye omo nyeden omo hande over power to John Dramani Mahama ne NDC amanuku na eche se Esidu Nketia aka se omo no se John Dramani Mahama ewe ni abana omo be force NPP amanuku no ama omo free power na ho no omo be kire omo se omo ena di soja aban ebae na omo NPP for there se tutu asem krampo there omo no omo ndru ho na we ena osanso etutu bi mane Akuffo Addo ne achima affairs no a wa condemn ejapade ebuku na o chese ejapade ebuku no eye omo anetro omo nim de omo ye and de omo plan is on be bia no eno ana eguso ekoso no enti no mema obi amfa nhye ne tirim se ejapade ebuku no enye buku a echese eye entro eye no true do abusua ye enche wa hase ye bepese ye be me abedwafo be me akona yakwa akuti ensem a Esidu A.Nketia edi tudana ansa na ebekọ no o ensem kan bi afa hye ye comment section like share ma afoforo so ensa into me enkebi bedamase.
You use the word win elections. Brian Champon, the agric minister, just last weekend told you in very clear terms that they will win elections at all costs through whatever means.
You know what? I don't waste my time on that type of loose. So let's focus on what it takes to win the elections. Once we have won the election, let anybody come out to say that, well, you have won, but we are not handing over. Interestingly, I heard this for the first time from another person who was also a champion. That was Kutu Achampon's time. You see, it was union government and all that they won't hand over, they don't want multi-party elections. He had to hand over in ways that he didn't anticipate. And then the next person came, who was A.Nketia. He actually bragged that he was holding Ghana like an egg. And that if you joke, he would drop the egg and we are all gone. Where is Afrifa now? He died and the egg survived. So when people are bragging, I don't just divert my attention to follow that type of bragging. It's an unnecessary distraction from the campaign effort. So I think that let them say what they want to say and let us do what we want to do. And I believe strongly that at the end of the day, we will win the elections and he will hand over peacefully.
There's a lot of peacefully, and that's what's coming to. A lot of talk since that about the need for both parties to tone down. The Peace Council is in the midst. In fact, the Catholic Bishops' Conference said there have been attempts to try and get both parties to sit at the table and make commitments that reduces the tension. What do you make of that, to get both of you, the parties, at a very high level, at your level, to come to the table and pour water on what is turning to be a very boiling situation?
You see, more than a year ago, I came out to say that it takes certain ingredients to create a violent election. And so when the ingredients are being prepared, that is the point where people should intervene. Otherwise, if you allow an explosive situation to develop, and you are now calling us to sign declarations and so on, declarations by themselves don't change any situation on the battlefield. You know, with this A.JAP expose, some of the things that we had been complaining in the past before the 2020 elections, it has come to pass that our positions have all been vindicated. They were deliberately planned to rig the election. And when they were starting, we told them that this one we should fight against it. Do you know that the Supreme Court ruling that birth certificates cannot be used for? It is right there in the A-JAP document that the MPP conducted a survey and they realized that unless they cancel out the birth certificate as a document for registration, breeder document for registration, they are likely to lose the elections. And so they did everything, including influencing the Supreme Court, to give that absurd ruling.
But you don't have any evidence of
No, it's in their book. They have written it, and it is there. Indicated.
It is allegation that they to influence the Supreme Court.
It's not an allegation. They have said it, and it has come to happen. It has passed. So what else? The person said, "This is what I'm going to do." At the end of the day, it was done, and he got the results he wanted.
But this is a book that nobody has owned up to it. Nobody knows who authored it.
But everything in there...
Party says it's fiction.
But everything in there is happening. Who wrote the Bible?
Well, the Bible, because I'm a Christian, it's the inspiration of God.
You don't have an author for the Bible. Why do you want an author for A-JAP document? The Bible is believed because everything in there is happening. So if you have another document and everything in there is happening, why do you waste your time contesting the authorship when you are not contesting the authorship of the Bible?
But the Supreme Court won. It was simply maybe because they made a stronger argument that convinced the court.
They have written it there before going to implement it, that unless they are able to block people from registering by cancelling out the use of birth certificate, the MPP is going to run into problems in the 2020 elections. And so they worked and made sure that Supreme Court did that ruling. The ruling came, we didn't use it, and they won the election. What other proof do you need?
But you know the A-JAP document. The first time I saw it was in 2015, 2016. If indeed...
Which of the versions?
Well, that's the point. That's the point. That's the point about its authenticity.
No.
There are many versions, two, I don't know.
There are two versions. The latest one that is being discussed, it is stated in there that the first phase, we implemented this, and this is what we are going to continue. So the current one that everybody has is the second document. The first document is there, and the very things they promised to do, they've done it, as a playbook.
Last week, the president himself spoke about this publicly for the first time. And he was very categorical that his opponents, and I believe the NDC is in that bracket too, that you have concocted this to just tarnish his reputation.
Then we are magicians. Then that is what should convince Ghanaians that they should give us power to rule. Because if we are able to concoct this story and put it there, and then compel our opponents who are in government to implement everything that we have concocted, then who are the better rulers of this country? Shouldn't it be us? And I hear stories like somebody saying that it was written by Professor Nana. In fact, if that book was written by Professor Nana, then she doesn't even deserve a running mate. She has to be the flag bearer. Because it will take a very super intelligent person to be able to prepare such a document, as you are saying, 2015 and whatever, and all the things that have been stated in that document have all been implemented by our opponents up to date.
When you say all, that is an exaggeration, isn't it?
Well, practically all. It cannot be 100%, because they themselves, in reviewing the document, they themselves have considered that there are certain areas they try to implement, they run into problems, like the capture of the power sector. The PDS run into problems because of ABC, and many of them. So my brother, don't let us waste precious time in arguing whether the document is authentic or not.
Because
it's clearly authentic. And I don't think
you are in a political arena.
If you want any proof, that proof should lie in the mouth of Nana Akufo-Addo or the Ochehene at all.
Why? You've also heard Ochehene also speak about this, but why don't you put lie in your mouths?
Because why do we have courts? Because people having committed an act will always want to deny. That is why there is court. And so you don't expect that if this thing had been written by, a family within the Achima Buakwa, to which the Ochehene belongs, they've been caught pants down. You don't expect them to just come out and own out that, oh, yes, we have done it.
But you're not saying that they altered it. You're not saying that they altered it.
It is their book. Whether they altered it or got somebody to alter it, it is what they are implementing.
The fact that some of the things that have been said in there had transpired doesn't mean that the MPP altered it.
I am saying that the authorship doesn't matter. What matters is that there is an agenda to capture the state and use the state resources to further private interests. And all the things that the roadmap has been followed practically perfectly up to this stage. And so that is why you have this state capture. I'm sure you read the session about the media and how they intended to capture the media. I was expecting your name. I didn't find it. I was disappointed. But they mentioned some of your people who have been compromised to do their job. The names are there, black and white.
But these are individuals who may know nothing about what's been said. Their names have just been thrown in there.
Oh, the things they are playing to the book. The individuals who have been named. Just look at the work they are doing. And there is no argument at all about it. So it's written there. They want to capture the judiciary. They have captured it up to this stage. Even as at this week, they were still pushing to capture it more, to implement more of the things that they have stated.
Is that why, and you say you're leading your parliamentary campaign, is that why we've seen your members of parliament yesterday fighting to block the confirmation of those two Supreme Court nominees?
Yes, but who would not do that? When you have stated that I want to capture the judiciary, and this is what I'm going to use the judiciary for, then if I have the power to stop you from capturing the judiciary, I should sit there and fold my hands. But
here's the thing, A.Nketia. Even your MPs, when you speak to them, they say the individuals who have been nominated are competent people. And that just because of a perception or something you've read,
it's not a perception.
You're fighting
the appointing authority says that we are putting our people there so they can jail these people, and we are putting them there so that they can protect us when we are.
But the appointing authority said that. Which appointing authority?
It is in that playbook, and we have seen the judges being a playbook. So why should we sit?
So the A-JAP document said it, but you're directly putting in the mouth of the appointing authority, which is the precedent.
But the A-JAP document says that when they say we, it means that the president and their family.
And the president has denied that categorically.
Oh, it's not about what you deny. It's about the facts that are on the ground. You see, everything they have said there has played out. So I am at times, I find it difficult to understand people who still argue that the document is not authentic, is not genuine, because no author has written their name there means that it doesn't have an author. If it doesn't have an author, and the thing is being implemented, so are you not entitled to believe that it is true?
On that last point of the judges, I mentioned one of the things that we'll talk about is that these two judges aren't the only ones that have faced opposition from you. In fact, beyond that, those already on the bench, you've raised many issues about, including the Chief Justice herself.
And
what about that?
A-JAP book has vindicated us because it tells you that this is what we are going to do. We are going to pack the courts with our favorites.
But I mean, are you saying that all this opposition is all because of the Japade to the courts and the judiciary?
No, even those days when we hadn't seen the Japade book, it was obvious what they were trying to do. But now the Japade book has come to confirm everything, every suspicion that we had about the packing of courts. So should we sit down and allow the courts to be packed further, even after we have been warned? My grandfather always refers to some account projects, a proverb that gorilla always prays to God that God should expose his enemy for him to see. But he's not asking God to fight his enemy for him. God, let me see my enemy, I'll fight him myself. So we are lucky God has shown us the intentions of people, those people who are in power. And then you sit there and you don't fight and you allow the things that have been planned against you to happen. Then we are not helping the country.
This is the same call, the appeals call, to be very specific, that just last 2 weeks, acquitted and discharged your minority leader. How do you square that circle? The same judiciary that you attack of being packed.
It depends.
The same
depends.
call.
Each case has its own specifications and whatever. I don't want to, fall into this line of argument that if somebody has been slapping you 10 times when he doesn't need to slap you, when he decides that I'm reducing the slap to 9, then you have to go and congratulate the person. You don't have to go and congratulate that person because he doesn't have any reason to slap you in
by the same judiciary that you
and
are.
I'm saying that if the judiciary has been biased on 15 occasions, and on one occasion they speak the truth, so they must be congratulated. So everything they have done in the past is whitewashed. I mean, that type of argument doesn't happen.
But what have they done?
Because we think that we have been complaining persistently about their judgment, and some of the judgments too. It's not us alone. Like this citizenship thing that we fought and fought and fought and fought and fought, only for a Japade document to come and vindicate us and expose that indeed it is true, it was an MPP agenda to make sure people don't register so they can win elections. So it has vindicated what we were saying in the past. You understand? So, and you have several of them. Ayawa's West Wogon. We were supposed to have held the election within 60 days. Some way, somehow, the university was on recess. NPP wanted the university students to come back. So the Electoral Commission then fixes the date beyond 70 days. We went to court to challenge it. The court never ruled until the election was over. So what type of system are we running? So if we now stumble on a document which says that these appointments are made for this purpose, are we not entitled to believe it?
Well, if you win the
election, you are entitled to believe it. You may decide not to believe it. That's your problem. But I believe that.
If you win the election, this is the same judiciary that you would have to work with. What do you do if this is what you believe?
We haven't come there yet. When we reach there, but every problem has its solution. When we get there, we get to the bridge, we'll cross it.
But you're campaigning to win elections, and it's possible you might win. This judiciary is not going anywhere.
Yes.
What would you do?
I'm saying that let us win the election first.
But you don't have a plan to what you do, the judiciary?
Let us win the election first. You don't share the meat before you go for hunting.
So first you say you have a plan.
Let us win the elections.
You were making a substantive point before we digress into this area about what do you do with the overtures to you and to the MPP to sit for peace. You started by talking about, yes, you're admitting you're coming to you to sign declarations. Then you're just recounting the evidence in the past. Are you at the point yet where you're ready to sign a declaration?
The declaration don't mean anything to us.
A peace declaration? It doesn't mean anything to you?
It doesn't mean anything to us because all previous declarations have not been adhered to, and those declarations have not solved any problem. If you allow violence to be brewed, you have violence, whether you sign declaration or not. And so that is why, for more than a year ago, I started talking about the need for us to remove the building blocks for violent elections. So at any stage, when something is happening, I call on those who in future will call us to sign declarations to speak up so that we stop this particular thing from happening. Otherwise, if you allow all those things to build up, and you say that, let us go and play peace football match, let us sign declaration, let us do this with the hope that we will get a peaceful election. Peaceful election will not happen. Because we did all this in 2020. All this and more in 2020. Council of State, Peace Council, everybody was involved, signing declarations left, right, center. The 2020 election turned out to be the most violent elections in the whole of the Fourth Republic.
So this year, not
so
signing.
So it tells you that signing or no signing is not the issue. What we have to talk about is the building blocks that will create the violence. We have come out to talk about the illegal recruitment of some 10,000 persons into the security services. It is brewing now. Peace Council should talk about it. It's a public discourse. Let's hear them. Let's hear the Catholic Bishops' Conference or whoever wants us to sign document in future. If we sit there and allow this government to just select party members, 10,000 of them, train them and deploy them on election day to if you like, maintain peace at polling stations. What will declaration do to avert what is likely to happen there? So now they have of 10,000 people that have been shortlisted. It is on the decks of the Interior Minister. And he's trying to find a way of making sure that these people get recruited into the security services. Our MPs challenge them. Look, at some point, the Interior Minister himself now went to Parliament to try to, if you like, bribe our MPs. That look, bring 2 from your constituency and let's add them so that you allow me to do it. And they have rejected it flatly.
He did this openly? Or
he did this to our MPs in Parliament. So I went there, they told me, and I said, don't give one person to them because you add one person and they recruit 10,000.
You described it as a bribe. Was this something he said on the floor or was meeting privately?
He called them privately and offered
made the offer to
the
them.
leadership. And we said that they shouldn't. And any NDC person who fall for that, you make sure that you have challenges in your constituency. Because what is wrong is wrong. If there is opportunity for recruitment into the security services, let it go through proper procedure so that everybody, the purpose of democracy is that everybody, every citizen must have equality of opportunities. So if there are opportunities for recruitment, let it go through the proper procedure and let every Ghanaian who qualifies get the same opportunity to be recruited. We are all for it because it constitutes job for the youth and other things. We are not against it. But to classify MPP people as the only youth in the country who deserve to be recruited in the security services, and you've written letters to your parliamentary candidates to select a certain number of party people and submit to Interior Minister for recruitment, it will not happen. I mean, and that is why that matter has been, there's a petition at Shrag, and in spite of the petition, they are now going ahead to advertise and pretend that they are doing the right thing, and then come and use the same names.
Yeah, you categorically said they are party foot soldiers,
yes,
but there isn't any evidence that they 10,000
there are letters that have been written to party candidates. And you know what is interesting is that even the MPs in the MPP who lost their primaries, they are not being asked to bring their names. They have written the letter to the new candidates to bring names. So,
I mean, last week we spoke to one of the candidates on this, David Sopoku, to be very specific, when this matter came out. He categorically denied he's an incumbent member of Parliament, that he'd been giving any allocation.
We have published at least some of the letters, and we have attached all these things to Shraj. You understand? So there is no denial of that fact at all. And we are saying that if they believe in rule of law, they better withdraw those adverts and wait for Siraj to do a determination.
You make an allegation about the Interior Minister meeting your own MPs.
Yes.
When did this happen?
Oh, it happened, I think I met our MPs before I traveled, but it happened before then. And I heard about it.
So this would have happened before Parliament went on recess?
Yeah, sure.
So this must be in the last month or two?
Yes. He was trying to bait them that, look, if you accept 2, bring 2, then we add to the list, then we can push this in. And we say, no way. Go and advertise the thing properly. And let every Ghanaian get the opportunity to be recruited.
John A.Nketia is the national chairman of the NDC, is my guest. I'm going to take a quick break. When I return, we'll ask him.
Highway so A.Nketia or 2024 December elections NPP amanyukuno omuntu say handi over power to NPP. Now no science we nyina watibida a champion mu nyina abeka bi. Na ono no de embo ne pusa ene NDC amanyuku na enye asem keto akra abusua aha POG Media political trending stories are make waves no yenso ya age atum say de bebrem bedamase.